In this episode, we're looking at Go, the Woodtick mix. This tune came out in 1991 and it was a huge hit in raves at the time. What we're going to do is take a listen to the samples behind it, take a listen to some other cool tunes along the way, and of course, see if we can recreate it on the SP303. But before that, let's give it a quick listen. Great tune for Moby, right? Remember Moby, we talked about him before. He's a well-known character in the electronic music scene. But we talked about that album Play when he was in his prime. This was about 10 years before, when he was not in his prime, right? He was just starting out. He was quite underground. And before even making this song, he was playing in punk bands in New York, going around playing dive bars and, you know, doing his thing. Punk shared a lot with house at the time. That was also a bit anti-establishment, and all these clubs were popping up in the late 80s, and Moby loved that and was drawn in to electronic music, right? Because it's the same energy, just a different vibe, right? House was a bit punk, as was electronic music, like I talked about in other videos. But anyway, he, as a man in his early 20s in New York in the early 90s, got a warehouse and started making tunes with synthesizers, drum machines, samplers, all that cool stuff. And one of the first tunes he put out was Go. Not the Woodtick mix, we're talking about the OG Go, the OGGO, you might say. It was the B-side of the song Mobility in 1990, and it sounded like this. Is that too minimal for you? Well, think of what you will of it. Whatever I said there, Moby thought it was not his best work. He wasn't keen on it. Didn't sell a huge amount either, maybe 1,000 copies or so. So then, why would he remix it? Right? Why would he do that is what you're wondering. I'll tell you. One day, UK label called up Out of Rhythm and they said, "Alright Moby, how you doing mate? It's Out of Rhythm here. We really like Go. We think it's brilliant and we want to license it in the UK. But could you do a couple of remixes, you know, give it some fresh flavour to just include so there's a bit more of a fresh sound? Nice one, brother." And he said, "Alright, I'll do that. I'll make some remixes." So back to his warehouse he went, and he sat down with some of the same samples, but he reimagined it, right? One of those remixes was the Rainforest mix, and this one has, some people say it's the best mix, right? It's really cool. Take a listen. Samples all over the place, and that one too. Moby loved sampling, right? He saw music as common property, and it kind of was at the time. Everyone was just borrowing things and throwing them around. But that's the Rainforest mix. But that's not the one that kicked off, or should I say ticked off. It was the Woodtick mix, right? We heard it a bit earlier. I'll play a bit towards the middle of it now. So that tune took off in the UK like crazy, right? Straight away, people loved it, and for good reason. That tension, those strings, that sample just was great, right? People loved it. It had some atmosphere and tension combined with the great beat. It was perfect for the underground raves in the UK at the time. Remember, I talked about this before, this kind of justice act that was trying to ban them. So raves were kind of a bit tense, so I captured it. And listen to this piano as well. So Moby learned from his first version, took another whack, and that took off, right? Went to number 10 in the UK charts, right? It was on top of the pops and everything. Number 1 in the dance charts, huge hit, and propelled Moby a good bit in the early 90s. So shout out to the Mobster and the Woodtick mix. But enough about the song. Let's get into the samples, shall we? The first sample we're looking at comes from Twin Peaks. That's right, the TV show by David Lynch. Have you seen it? Have you heard about it? Maybe. It's a very well-known show, even though it came out a long time ago and it was short-lived. It's a cult classic, right? People love it. And people love David Lynch, right? He makes some great stuff. So the show itself is a murder mystery set in a small town up in the mountains of America, up there near Canada or near Seattle or that area, I should say. And yeah, it's a cool show. It's surreal, it's unique, it's interesting and funny, right? Brilliant show. Check it out. But it's got great music like this right here. Check this out. That's Audrey's dance from the show, and you can hear some of the same motifs, right? Hear that? The same chords from Woodtick and from the team we're going to listen to in a second. Hold your horses. I want to talk about who's making this beautiful music. It's a Mr. Badalamenti, Angelo Badalamenti, and he worked alongside David Lynch for a lot of movies and other productions, right? And he is an amazing composer. I want to show you this example of his work called Mysteries of Love. Like, it's epic is the term I would use to describe that, and I don't use that term very often, right? It's very atmospheric and emotional and beautiful, right? That's with Julie Cruz, but he's also worked with Shirley Bassey, Dusty Springfield, and the legend Dolores O'Riordan. So I urge you to go check out some of his stuff. But let's come back to Twin Peaks. He worked with David Lynch, and they would sit down and collaborate, where David would describe a scene and Badalamenti would, do the chords. And for this next team, Laura Palmer's team, it was done in like 15 or 20 minutes, allegedly. Just sat down and did it and was like, that was the first take. And David was like, that's it, we're sorted. So, who's Laura Palmer from Laura Palmer's team? Well, I told you it's a murder mystery. And in episode 1, very beginning, I'm not spoiling anything here, Laura Palmer's body washes up, and that sets the whole plot in motion. And this is the song. This is the song that you hear. That's Laura Palmer's team, right? It's brilliant. It's amazing. And you probably know that bit, right? That you heard in Woodtick, or you heard in Steve Morano remix of Dark Monk's Insane. It's the first time I heard it, right? Not going to bring that up, but it's a hard house banger. But have you heard what it turns into? It's amazing. I can't play it because of copyright. They're coming after me. But why don't you pause this and go listen to it, right? And you'll get the full whack. He had a way of composing, that man. You know, he even composed the opening ceremony of the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona. Shout out to Angelo Badalamenti, and also rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago. But anyway, I'm digressing. Let's sample it in. And before we do that, I need to say hello to Dr. Sample. Hello, Dr. Sample. What did you say? I said hey. Okay, he said hey. Right, this is Dr. Sample. He is the man, the boss man, some people call him, and he's my co-host. I'm interested in your thoughts on Twin Peaks. That's right, it is a little peculiar. Anything you want to say to the people here today? What's going on? That's right. He's excited to get stuck in, as am I. We're going to open up Bank D. We're going to make sure it's all clear. Clear slate, right? We've had that mistake before. And we're going to sample in Laura Palmer's team. So why don't we do that? Okay, so we have it. Let's just make sure it's starting at the right point. Now you might be thinking, that sounds a bit different to Woodtick mix, right? Listen to this. Could be the pitch, right? Remember, we can pitch on this device despite the vicious rumors. Still sounds very different. I'll tell you why. And here's where it gets crazy. Moby didn't actually sample Laura Palmer's team. Dun dun dun. Well, technically he borrowed that, tried to sample it, but he ended up replaying it on his synthesizer, the SY22, right? You see him use when he was playing live on. He even played it on top of the pops, right? So he replayed that and recreated it. So technically not a sample, but we're going to keep that in as our sample. And we're going to resample it with the pitch effect. And there we go. All right, we've got our first sample in, Laura Palmer's team. Let's move on to the drums. The drums in this record come from Two in a Room. Now, if you don't know them, they were a hip house duo coming out of New York in the early 90s, and they consisted of Rafael Vargas, aka Dos, and Roger Pauletta, aka Raj Nice. He was a producer, right? So he's the guy you really want to thank for the drums. But anyway, you heard me correctly when I said hip house. That was a thing at the time. Remember, house was new and coming up, and hip hop was new and coming up. So obviously, people started merging them together, and Two in a Room did that. It's a great sound, right? Check it out.
So come on and party hardy all night and wiggle it just a little bit. I wanna see you wiggle it just a little bit as it grooves, wiggle it.
That was their biggest hit. Wiggle It went to number 3 in the UK. And you know what? I wish people did that more. I love a bit of hip hop over a house beat. I think some have dabbled in it, but it just never really took off. You don't hear enough of it. But that's Two in a Room, and I want to give a little segue, right? They had a big hit like that, but their heritage was the Dominican Republic, right? They were living in a neighborhood of New York, Washington Heights, that had a big Dominican scene. They disbanded this, and in a few years they came up with the band called Fulanito, and this was the merengue style, the traditional Dominican Republic music, and they started putting out tunes like this.
El baile del cepillo. A cepillar se ha dicho. Párate de la silla. Cepilla, 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 cepilla lo fuerte.
And they went really big with that, right? So they actually became like massive with this. So very talented duo, Two in a Room. So shout out to them, and shout out to my next door neighbors here in London that are also Dominican Republic, and they play this kind of stuff at their barbecues. It's great, right? Great kind of music. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Let's get our drums in. The drums come from She's Got Me Going Crazy. Let's take a listen to that from Two in a Room.
Once I walked inside the door, looking mighty fine with your juicy big behind. I was standing, staring, digging what you were wearing, and I was feeling kinda daring, so I made my move. I got smooth. Yes.
I love the kind of rapping from back then, right? It's just great. But you can hear the drums in the background.
She's moving, she's got me going, she's got me going crazy, baby.
And that's what Moby sampled, right? He took it from the beginning where the drums are on their own. And back then, you just did that, right? You just picked up and said, I'll use those drums, and you just sampled them. What an era, right? He did credit Two in a Room on Go, right? But they're the drums he picked up. Let's do the same. Right? Loop it. There we go. I think Moby put a little bit of flange on him as well, so let's do that. Sounds fine. Let's resample it in. Number 6. I just realized you can't really loop with the flanger on because it's going to find, but let's try. Don't know what happened there. I did not expect that to work. But anyway, let's get into the next sample. Vocals. There's two vocal samples I'm going to take a look at in this song. The first comes from Jocelyn Brown. Do you know Jocelyn Brown? She's an amazing vocalist, right? This song is Somebody Else's Guy. This was her first solo song. But before that, she worked as a backup singer and she was in demand all over the place, right? Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, John Lennon, and many, many more singers all wanted her on their records because she was so amazing, right? Take a listen to this. This was her debut solo tune and it was a big hit. Somebody Else's Guy. It's so funky. It's from 1984. Imagine that being your first song. Like, shout out to Jossie B, one of the greatest to ever do it.
Can you remember the times we spent together, sharing the days in the sun? Then I found
Amazing stuff, right? Brilliant tune. Just wanted to give a special shout out to that one. But she was also big in house music, right? Todd Terry had this song with her in the 90s. You might have heard it.
feeling good in your soul, feeling free and let it show. Come on in and love with me. Now I'm giving you the sound. Something's going on in my soul.
Something's going on. What a tune. So in the 90s, she got stuck into house music, right? And did a couple of tracks like that. But initially, she was in house music or club music, we might say, through no means of her own. It was sampling that brought her there. And it was this song, Something, or Love's Gonna Get You, right? The same one Moby sampled was sampled loads of times, right? It's a banger in its own right. She's got so much power in her voice, right? That many sampled it, this record. But take a listen to this, right? I have to just, I was a little side sample note here. You're going to recognize this definitely, right? Listen with your ears. That's right, Snap sampled that one. I've got the power, right? One more time. She wasn't happy with that at all. She got no credit and the song was blowing up everywhere and she was like, what's going on? What is this? And everyone's like, that's sampling. And she was like, I don't like that at all. Right? She got no credit. But anyway, that's the dark side of sampling sometimes, but it happens. But listen to this. There you go. That's the yeah from Go. Was her saying mine, yeah. One more time. There we go, that's the record. This was sampled loads and I'll tell you why. Because she put it out with an acapella, right? And that's why people sampled it all over the shop, including Snap, Moby, and a bunch of others. She had an acapella. Jocelyn, unfortunately wasn't happy, but it's a great voice and I'm happy to hear it on loads of records, so shout out to her. Let's sample in the a cappella, and it comes in over here.
As you are thinking of when it comes to committing a crime, baby, you will see it's just grand larceny when I steal your love and make it mine.
There's kind of a delay on the a cappella. Maybe it came from like a club mix or something, but we'll take in one of those.
When I steal your love and make it
I messed that up one more time.
When I steal your love and make it mine.
That's okay. Alright, so we got the yeah, and then the second vocal is the go! That appears in all versions, right? It's why it's called Go. And that comes from a band called Tones on Tail. Now, Tones on Tail, let me tell you, because I have a couple notes here. We're a British band, post-punk, gothic, ex-musicians of the band Bauhaus, and they had a very industrial sound. Check this out. I love that sound, the kind of new wave, like gothic, bit of synthesizers and stuff, but still kind of punk at the same time. So Moby probably knew them from his time in the punk scene, and this song is Performance, but their song Go was a big hit for them, and according to the YouTube comments, it was played a lot at these high school dances in the 80s. So let's give that a listen. It's got a good sound, lads. It's gritty. I hadn't heard of Tones on Tail before, but I like them now, and I'm going to explore them a bit more. But let's get in with the sample. We'll just play it up until the sample. It comes in early enough. Into number 4. There you go. There you go. That's go. So we have that.
Go! 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 Go!
So now we have a bunch of samples, right? We have Laura Palmer. We have Tones on Tail. We have Jossie and Tones on Tail. So we put them together, we get a rough draft of Go. So first I'm going to need to time adjust this. I'm going to beef it up with a compressor. bit too slow and a bit too quiet. Let me put these down. Not happy with that either, lads. One more time. Sorry about that. We heard the end of Tones on Tail coming in. They wanted to have another bit of airtime. So look, that's basically it. You get it, right? I'm not gonna try and perfect it because one, he recreated it with a synth, and two, there's a bunch of other stuff, but I hope you get a general gist. This has been a particularly longer episode, but it's good to be back, folks. Please subscribe if you liked the video. Please drop a comment. Please follow the link and buy me a pint if you're so inclined, because I can't get any money off this channel. I'm just doing it for the crack. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next time, where I'll be exploring more cool songs and samples. Hope you enjoyed.